Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, folks, wherever you are. Welcome back to M1 Racing and another fantastic round of the G-Force Racing League Season 4. We're coming towards its dramatic conclusion in just the next 3 rounds, but it's nowhere near decided yet. So before we get into talking about results from last week and what's coming up, let's hand over to Dawling's GFR Digest, which this week has a very special guest writer in the shape of Obo. So let me hand you over to Obo and his thoughts this week for Dawling's GFR Digest.
Dawling's GFR Digest.
Obo Ghostwriter Edition.
With M. Dawling still recovering from his exertions in the Ironman race on Sunday, Obo steps in to provide a look back on the last round of G-Force Racing in Italy and a look ahead to the next round in Saudi Arabia. Mac T had an interesting race in Italy. Contact in the race saw Mac T fall down the grid with a 10-second penalty, really dampening his race. Mac T fought well and clawed back to finish in 6th, moving him into 5th position in the Drivers' Championship. While still a strong contender for the Drivers' Championship, it may be a little out of reach without a very strong finish in the last 3 races. There will definitely be no room for mistakes. I'm sure Mac T will be right there at the front, keeping everyone on the limit.
Gorezaaa.
A new prospect in GFR this season, and what a prospect he has been. Gorezaaa picking up his first win in GFR and joining a very elite club. It is not easy winning in GFR, and Gorezaaa definitely had to work for it, fighting off multiple race winner M. Dawling and our current Drivers' Championship leader Jakub. Gorezaaa showed his pace and earned his first win. I'm sure we have more to see from Gorezaaa, and what a great addition to G-Force Racing.
SS7.
SS7 has not been at his best so far this season, but last week's outing showed that he's still got it. Starting from 8th and fighting to finish in 4th showed everyone that SS7 will be back at the front in no time. SS7, I'm sure, will be fighting hard as ever to support the Mercedes team, leading the way in the constructors with McLaren and Aston Martin right behind. Every point matters towards the end of the season, and do not count out SS7 for a podium place in the Drivers' Championship. Our championship leader had a tough race. After starting in 2nd, Jakub did not have an easy ride. After a collision between Tom and Mac T saw them fall down the grid, the race seemingly opened up for Jakub. Dawling and Gorezaaa showed great pace to give Jakub a thrilling battle. Still finishing on the podium in a tough race may just be the difference between winning the Drivers' Championship and not.
Big Tonk.
We missed Big Tonk last week, and what a miss he is. Great wheel-to-wheel battling and shows promising signs of getting quicker and quicker every week. Hopefully we will see him back very soon. Jaguar Paw, much like SS7, had a very good race after starting in 10th. He took full advantage of all the mishaps and clawed his way to finish 5th. Jaguar Paw has been getting quicker and quicker and is definitely one to watch for the future. Could the Williams pair battle for a podium in the Constructors?
Daddy Tonk.
Daddy Tonk definitely had an off race in Italy. Starting 12th and finishing 10th saw Daddy Tonk gain a vital point. Ferrari currently 3 points behind Haas and gaining. We hope to see Daddy Tonk back doing well in Saudi Arabia and fighting for the points once again.
Obo.
Not a great race day for Obo in Italy, which saw him start down in 7th for the feature race. With some good pace, the race looked promising early on, but Obo received some contact in turn 1, which spun his car and saw him drop to the back of the grid. Obo didn't give up and was able to fight back to finish where he started in 7th. After a win for Obo in the Ironman League on Sunday, I'm sure he will want to have a better week for himself and his team, where he is fighting for podiums in both the Elite and Ironman leagues.
Tom 1998.
One of the quickest drivers in the league saw Tom start 3rd in the feature race in Italy. However, Tom was on the receiving end of some contact which damaged his front wing. Tom was able to keep going and fought hard, finishing in 8th place. Definitely not where he expects to be, and definitely not where anyone expects him to be. I am fully expecting Tom to be back at the front this week in Jeddah. The feature race in Italy was an interesting event for Dorling after some treatment to his crown jewels. Dorling started in 5th and finished in 2nd. Dorling had some real race pace after hunting down Jakub and overtaking him on the last lap to finish on the 2nd step of the podium. Dorling is a real contender for the Drivers' Championship, and I'm sure will take the title down to the last race. Emil finished the race where he started in 9th. Emil has not long come back to the game and is starting to perform well. I fully expect Emil to be back towards the front in no time. Emil had some really good pace in the Ironman and is always looking quicker in the Elite League. It's good to see a veteran of GFR still going strong. Ryatek was very unfortunate in the feature race in Italy, starting 11th and not being able to finish. With Ferrari hunting down Team Haas, can Ryatek do anything to stop them? GoatGhosty lost the championship lead in Canada and was not able to finish the feature race last week in Italy, falling further behind Jakub. Rumours are that Ghosty will be back for Jeddah and back strong. A great outing in the Ironman saw a strong 2nd place for Ghosty after a mid-race medical issue. I sense a great battle cooking between Ghosty and Jakub for the Drivers' Championship. I wouldn't like to call which way it will go, but I will definitely be watching until the last lap of the last race. David is rumoured to be returning to the league this week. David showed very good pace back in Qatar, where he finished 6th place, but only due to track limit penalties. It will be good to see them return this week, and I'm excited to see where he will finish next time out. The climax to Season 4 is fast approaching, with just 3 rounds left to go. Will Jakub extend his lead on GoatGhosty? Can Goat return to winning ways in Saudi Arabia? We cannot wait to find out. We wish our drivers all the best for Wednesday's race, and if you are watching this for the first time and perhaps fancy taking part, please do follow the link to our Discord and social channels and come and be part of the one-of-a-kind G-Force Racing League. Let's go racing!
Dorling's GFR Digest.
Ghostwriter Edition.
Well, my huge thanks there to Obo for putting together this week's Dorling's Digest. A brilliant job by Obo, continuing the good work of M. Dorling. And what a great replacement M. Dorling found to put those notes together. I hope you're enjoying those, folks. I certainly enjoy putting them out ready for everyone to see, hopefully before each race round. So we try and release them at least 24 hours before the race on my YouTube channel and on TikTok. So please feel free to sign up to both of those, and you'll get notified as soon as they go out to the world. All right, so that was Obo's view from Italy. Let me just show you the results. We had 2 races last week. First of all, of course, the sprint. And MacT was victorious, continuing their good form from the week before. And Desaves, and new championship leader, came home in second, but GoatGhosty was right behind them. That was our podium for the sprint. More points there for M. Dorling and Tom 1998. We welcome them back. Obo finished there in 6th, Jaguar in 7th, and SS7 picked up the final point in the sprint race. Gorezaaa finishing outside the points, as you can see there. But it all changed around in the feature race. Gorezaaa had an absolutely storming drive in the feature race. Was my driver of the day. I think many of our watchers picked Gorezaaa. M. Dorling didn't do too bad either, finishing there in second. That did their championship hopes no harm whatsoever. Decevest, though, did finish on the podium with 15 points there in third. And their teammate, SS7, very good drive, having started, I think, around about 8th at the beginning of the race, finishing there in 4th. So very good from the Mercedes team. We'll see what that does to the constructors' standings in just a moment. Then came Jaguar in 5th, followed by Mac T, who admitted openly in the driver's chat afterwards that they just completely misjudged it into turn 1 under braking, and the turbulent air from the rear of Decevest went straight on at turn 1, clipped the front of Tom 1998, and that gave them a 10-second penalty. They did eventually recover to 6th, as Obo was saying in his notes, so damage limited, but it was still not what they were hoping for, but they did get fastest lap. Obo came home in 7th. Tom 1998 eventually finished in 8th. Emeleki was back on the scoreboard, 2 points for them and their Red Bull team. And Daddy Tonk continuing their scoring streak, 1 point for them in 10th. Most notable, though, was GoatGhosty DNFing so early on in the feature race, putting a huge dent in their championship hopes. So what does that do to the drivers' standings? I'm keeping a close eye, folks, on the lobby just to see when we get the ready up to go, but it looks as though we're okay at the moment. A couple of drivers struggling to get into the lobby, so we'll give that a moment to sort itself out. So driver standings, very, very important. Decevest leads the way with 3 rounds left to go, 133 points, but not a huge advantage over GoatGhosty, and just one mistake in a race, as Goat demonstrated very ably last week. One mistake could, move Goat back into contention if Goat gets a good score in any of the next 3 rounds. M. Dawling closing down that gap on the top ones very, very shortly, and look for them to go well around Saudi Arabia. Then followed by Obo there in 4th. The Aston Martin's doing incredibly well, splitting the McLarens of Goat and Mac T now in 5th place, moving up gradually through the running order, followed by SS7 there in 6th on 79. Pankadlek, who we've sadly said goodbye to in the G-Force Racing League. We do hope to see them back eventually, but they'll gradually start moving down that order as others start scoring. And if Gorezaaa keeps up their recent form, we can expect to see Gorezaaa starting to challenge for some of those top spots. There's still good 75 points or more available to our drivers, so don't count anyone out really in those top 7 or 8 places at this point in time. M&D Hammer there in 9th on 59 points, and then Jaguar in 10th. Daddy Tonk's there on 23 points in 12th at the moment. Look for them to go well in Saudi Arabia, and we see both the Ferrari drivers in the Ferrari garage, Big Tonk and Daddy Tonk. Hopefully we'll get to speak to them during today's race. No Mr. Hannes, I don't think today, unless he's decided to study diligently. M1 Righty, I hear a rumour, may be returning for the last couple of races. Stay posted for that one, folks. Emeleki there on 11 points in 15th. KKE on 10, Ryatek on 9. Big Tonk starting to score 8 points for them. Is in the top 20 there on 8. David Svat is back this week. He's got those 8 points from Qatar, and we'll be looking to add to those. We haven't seen Jackamus for a few races now, but they are currently in 20th position on 6 points. I see Monty in the Twitch chat. I'm going to be on the Comms VC very, very shortly, but I'll let you focus on qualifying and then perhaps jump in the VC if you don't make it out onto the race. So let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes are leading the way on 220 points. That partnership between SS7 and Jakub really starting to pay dividends. Also, SS7 starting to come into form as well. Be interested to see how that plays out. I've just got a message from Obo. I don't think they put in a huge amount of practice for this week, so we'll see how they go. But I will mention Obo did very, very well in the Ironman this week, and that is the video. I haven't moved on just in the top right-hand corner of your screen, folks. We had the Ironman on Sunday. in Texas. It's every 2 weeks. We'll talk a little bit more about that before we close out today's stream. But definitely come and join us if you want a bit of fun on a Sunday. The Ironman was a lot of fun, and Obo won in the Circuit of Americas. Very, very good drive from him. Goat may have had something to say about it, but due to a bit of an emergency mid-race, they had to go into AI, so they were not able to compete for a big chunk of that. Got Goat in the Twitch chat as well. Welcome, Goat. Hope you're feeling well today, sir. Go well. Yeah, and quali is going to be hard, and it's going to be difficult. It won't be difficult to overtake here, but I think DRS is going to play a big factor. We'll see if Goat and McLaren can start to close down that gap on Mercedes. No MAC-T tonight, so that's going to be a little bit tough for the McLaren team. But if anyone can do it, Goat certainly can. Aston Martin also in the running there. They're third, 187 points. But that partnership between Obo and M. Dorling is very strong. And M. Dorling really has picked up some good form over the last race or two, as has Obo. And I wonder if we'll see the first GFR Elite League victory for Obo in the not too distant future. I wouldn't put it past them. So let's remind ourselves where we're going to be this evening, folks. Yeah, best of luck, Goat. Wish you well today. So we are, it says round 11 here, but bear in mind that round 1 was actually a pre-season, so I'm counting it as round 10 with 2 more to go. But we are in Jeddah this week, scene of quite a controversial race, it has to be said, in the F1 Sim Racing Championship, where the pros were racing just a week or so ago, as if you're watching that video in the top right corner. That's my POV, folks. That's me trying to navigate an Ironman race with the G-Force Racing drivers. I didn't finish last, and I had a pretty decent battle with Daddy Tonk for a big chunk of that race. We were sort of trading pit stops, it would seem. But you see, I was struggling to keep that Sauber pointing in the right direction. But there was a green flash disappearing around the streets of Austin on Sunday. But it was a lot of fun. So Saudi Arabia this week, that scene of that very controversial race. We'll talk about the specific corner where Ron Haar and Gorezaaa came together in very dramatic fashion midway through that race. Some might argue not an overtaking place, but I wonder if any of our drivers who might try the same manoeuvre this evening. We'll keep our fingers crossed for a very positive outcome from that. As Goat says in the Twitch, the Ron Haar kill corner. Yes, so certainly generated quite a bit of debate, both in the studio and also in our own GFR chat during the week. We had a bit of an FIA pop quiz, and my thanks to all the drivers who participated in that. Mixed views as to who was at fault for that one. And then after Saudi Arabia, we head off to Spain. One of the best tracks, I think, for us to experience some racing with these folks. Very tight, very twisty, but it does promote some overtaking, so we're going to looking forward to that one. And then last but by no means least, genuinely one of my favourite tracks on the F1 calendar, Interlagos in Brazil. I almost wish SS7 had chosen that as a sprint round, in all honesty, but it's going to be the finale for Season 4 of G-Force Racing. And I can't believe when we started Season 4, way before Christmas, I thought when we get to Christmas and we actually come to Singapore, you know, I'll be in the new year. Well, we're well into January already, and it'll be February in no time at all. So this has flown by, Season 4. If you've been following it with us here on M1 Racing, thank you ever so much for being here. If you're not yet a follower, please do hit that follow button. It'd be great to have you every week here on a Wednesday as I go into the back of Daddy Tonk. Or was that Big Tonk? Yeah, I had a few moments in Austin, but fortunately no harm done. So, thanks for being here with us, and we're hoping to give you an excellent round of racing. And I see we've now got the ready up to go into qualifying in Jeddah. So enough talking from me. I'll see you the other side of this for round 10 in Saudi Arabia. Don't go anywhere, folks. On the inside of Cox Sector 7 goes with them. It's wheel to wheel as we head down towards Vale. 3 cars wide coming down the strip. Alright folks, let's go racing. And a reminder there, folks, at the end of that intro video for GFR, you have all the links and information around the Wednesday and the Sunday races. Wednesday every week when the season is live, and then every other Sunday for the Ironman. And I think that will continue on until F124 runs out, and we'll do it all again when F125 comes around and we get a bit more use to that game. So here we are in Jeddah into qualifying. We've just got the one qualifying session of 18 minutes under the lights here, hoping for no rain, it would seem to suggest. Now, bear in mind, though, the geography of Jeddah does mean it's right by the coast. Although we're in the Middle East here, the weather can come in off the sea, so we do not count out the prospect of rain at some point. But certainly going to be dry for qualifying, as we see the McLaren, I think that was of GoatGhosty, heading out on to track. Indeed it is. So we'll sit with Goat as they warm up their soft tyres for a flying lap around this track here in Jeddah. Now, we'll do our best to count the corners here, folks. There's 27 of them. So we've gone from tracks a couple of weeks ago with only like 10 corners to this one here in Saudi Arabia with 27 of them for our drivers to negotiate. Obviously a street circuit with these walls coming at our drivers at a rate of knots, and if you get it wrong, it's not just a damage to your lap time, it's possibly terminal damage to your car. So our drivers will go very, very carefully whilst also trying to put it on the limit to get the best possible lap time they can. Now, as we only have the one qualifying session, our drivers will use a selection of their tyres, but also think about which ones they want to hold on to for the race itself. So we'll see some drivers out, perhaps come out on mediums, one or two just sticking to the softs, but it's going to influence what they have available to them in the race itself. I'm intrigued to see what strategies some of our drivers actually go with here. The track itself is actually quite long, 6.2 kilometres. Compares to the longest track on the F1 calendar, which is Spa at 7 kilometres. So it's a very long track here, and it's also the second fastest of any track on the F1 calendar. Monza, where we were at last time, is the fastest, but Jeddah is the fastest of the street circuits. Well, here goes Goat then, trying to get a time on the board as they try to navigate this very tricky section here in Jeddah. That turn 4 that we've just passed is going to potentially take a few front wings and maybe the odd front wheel off our cars if they misjudge it. Down into turn 13. The first of the kind of sweeping hairpins, if you like, a banked corner as well, but it's slippery on exit as Goat powers up towards the next chicane of 16 and 17. Using a little bit of the curb makes the McLaren unsettled on the exit of 17, then into one of 3 DRS zones here, and now this infamous corner, which we will talk a little bit more about as the qualifying and race unfolds. That was the scene of that huge accident in the F1 Sim Racing Championship just a couple of weeks ago. Car ahead of Goat here should not disturb them too much and may actually give them a bit of a tow as they come round final corner 27, back on the power. Indeed, we'll get a little bit of a slipstream from the car in front as Goat sets the time to beat of a 1:28.227. Well done, Goat. Time on the board. We will see how that holds up. Obo is on a flyer here. Let's see how they can go as they come around the final corner, looking to get a time on the board. Let's see how they compare to Goat's time at a 128.807. See, within shouting distance of the McLaren as they allow their teammate of M. Dorling out on a flying lap here. That second place last week in Monza doesn't really tell us the full story of the feature race in Monza. It was an epic battle at the front between M. Dorling, Gorezaaa and Jakub, and my thanks to those drivers for really giving us a great deal of entertainment. Oh, and there's the curbs playing their part in unsettling that Aston Martin, and I would not be surprised if that has invalidated. No, it looks as though M. Dorling is still good at this moment, so game very generous perhaps as M. Dorling backed out of that. That will have disadvantaged their time as they get very close to the wall through 16. Now coming through 18 and 19, then 20. Count them down, folks. 21 here, and now 22. Fast approaching. DRS zone ends. Runs over the curbs, trying to take as much speed with them as they can. Then into our next DRS zone. We'll see a lot of overtaking into the final corner of turn 27 on the outside, or drivers trying to set up an overtake on the exit of 27. Back end complaining of the Aston Martin as M. Dorling gets back on the power. Not expecting a great time from M. Dorling here, but a 128.713 with that mistake. M. Dorling may well go a bit quicker. David Svat has gone fastest of anyone so far with a 127.714. Back with us this week, David Svat was driving for Mercedes. He's one of the reserve drivers in this league, but was very quick in Qatar. And this is a very quick qualifying time, 127.714. Provisional pole for David. Welcome back, David. Daddy Tonk is on the board with a 129.597. Tom with a very early time of 144.171. I'm going to suggest Tom, I dare say, will go significantly quicker. And there's some congratulations from Gorezaaa to David Svat in the drivers chat. Let me get to Monty. So I think Monty is going to come and join us potentially in the commentary. I don't want him to, in the sense that I'd like him to stick out there driving, but is invalidated so far on this lap, so we'll have to go again. I wonder if Monty's recharging those batteries. He's not going in to the pits, so he's back out again. David Svat, thank you ever so much for following us here on M1 Racing. Cracking qualifying lap from you so far. People have got to go some to beat you with that time. We will see if how well that holds up. GoatGhosty's got a little bit closer, 127.999. So that is two drivers into the 127s. Monty's looking to get a time on the board here. Let's ride on board as unfortunately Monty invalidates one more time there. So Monty will have to try for another one. Let's get to Big Tonk. David, if that was a horrible lap, I hate to see what a really, really good one looks like. But you'll have a chance to go again for sure. Big Tonk now trying to get a time on the board for them and Ferrari. Their teammate, Daddy Tonk's got a 129.597. As Obo said in his notes before we started today's race, we've enjoyed spending our time with Big Tonk initially in the Sunday friendlies. He was with us in the Ironman on Sunday and has been gradually improving in the Elite League on a Wednesday as well. And this game is all about practice ultimately. And we'll see how much closer they can get to their teammate initially and see if they can improve from there as they come through those sweeping bends of 18, 19 and 20. Just dropping a gear there. 2 gears down for Big Tonk into 23 and 24. 25, then 26. Heavy braking now for the final hairpin. Late apex from the Ferrari. Back on the power. Over the DRS detection line. DRS now open. Over the start-finish line for a 130.105. So Big Tonk is on the board. Got to get to our championship leader. Jakub, who's got a 128.098. Early doors, still just under 9 minutes left to go, but Jakub is on the board, 128.098. And it's not necessarily the best place to be in first round, of heavily DRS dependent track, as you can follow another driver out in front for quite a while if you're able to save that battery and challenge towards the end of the race. We will see what strategy our drivers eventually go for, but Jakub is there with a 1:28.098, just the two drivers in the 1:27s right now, as Monty continues to investigate various parts of the Saudi Arabia circuit and appears to have left part of their RB behind. So Emeleki, last driver other than Monty to get a time on the board. Gorezaaa, I think, was late into qualifying, so is not going to be setting a qualifying time here today. Right on board with Emeleki, and Emeleki's already invalidated, it would seem. So Emeleki, I think, recharging their battery here. We see that red light blinking on the Red Bull. So Emeleki got a teammate with them today. So David Svat leading the way in qualifying at the moment. Provisional pole from them. We're going to ride on board with Emeleki, who again drove well in the Ironman. Their hard tyre strategy paying dividends, but really got some pace back from Emeleki, which is good to see. Into the first chicane, turns 1 and 2 there at the end of the start, finish straight. Scene of many a battle in the real F1 Championship. Oh, Emeleki gets ever so close to the wall on turn 4, then through 5 and 6, then rounds to 7, 8 and 9, then through 10. Oh, Emeleki really dicing the walls, and as we saw with them Dorling, struggling to get that exit of 10 right. It looks as though Gorezaaa actually put their Sauber in the wall, if I'm reading their driver chat messages correctly. So not the best of starts to our victor from the feature race in Monza. But Emeleki at least trying to get a time on the board here into the first DRS zone on the back straight. Emeleki doesn't look very comfortable, it's fair to say, at the moment. It's not their usual aggressive type of style, I would say. So Emeleki trying to find their way around. Now the final corner, 27, back on the power. Can Emeleki at least get a time on the board? Hugs close to the start-finish line. Oh, the pit lane wall, and it's a 1:28.869. So Emeleki provisional 9th right now. I think Goat is back out on another set of tyres. So let's bring those up and give ourselves a fighting chance of understanding what's going on. SS7 does have a time on the board, 1:28.610. Don't think they're improving on that at this point. We'll see them come through the final part of Sector 2. They do look to be pushing, but no, they are 3 seconds down on their previous time. So Goat trying to improve, is 2 tenths up nearly on their best time so far, so could still provisional pole here. Just a handful of corners left to go for Goat. Needs to judge this perfectly into turns 27. A little bit wide from Goat, but that's not necessarily the worst line through there. You can carry a touch more speed as we come over the start-finish line for a 1:27.683, improves by 3 tenths on David Svat, so takes that pole position away from the reserve Red Bull driver, and Goat back at the front where he needs to be. Let's face it, Goat needs to win this race to start closing that gap down on Jakub. If nothing else, they've got to finish in front of Jakub. Otherwise it will leave just 2 races left to try and close that gap. Tom 1998 is on the board with a 1:28.474. I wonder if Tom is going here one more time. Indeed, they're purple in Sector 2. So it's the pace is picking up here, folks, as we get into the business end of qualifying with just 4 minutes left to go under the lights in Saudi Arabia. It was season 2 we were last here. Maybe if I get a moment, we'll talk a little bit about the results from season 2. Some surprising discoveries when I look back at those results. Tom's going to come over the line now. Do they improve? They improve quite substantially. 1:27.881 takes provisional 3rd. Doesn't quite get in front of David Svat and GoatGhosty, but that is Tom into the top 3 positions. Tom had probably a week to forget in Monza last week but did end up scoring points, but probably not where they intended to be. Go is heading into the pits now, and that puts all of our drivers into the pits or back out on out laps. M. Dorling is back out again, 128.713 they are looking to beat. But bear in mind, we were on board with them as they made that mistake through turn 6. So we'll see if they can hang on to that Aston a little bit better on their next flying lap. This will probably be their last chance. I don't think they'll have time as they allow the Red Bull through in front of them. So yeah, M. Dorling's got to get this one right. They've gone out a relatively quiet time on track, so we'll not have too much traffic to contend with, except for that Red Bull they have right in front of them at the moment. So I wonder if that Red Bull, they'll let that Red Bull scamper off into the distance, or perhaps hope to grab a little bit of a sneaky toe from the Red Bull as well. That's a perfectly legitimate strategy. The DRS here and the slipstream effect is incredibly powerful between these walls here in Jeddah. So there's not a huge disadvantage until you get into the twisty stuff, and then that loss of downforce will have a major effect. So M. Dorling slows down here and looks to set up their next qualification lap. That 127.683 is the target for our drivers to grab that pole position away from second place GoatGhosty in the championship, and M. Dorling closing in on potentially their first ever G-Force Racing Championship. 128.713 is their previous time. We can see if they're going to be up as they dice with the walls here in Jeddah. Now remember, this is where M. Dorling got it slightly wrong last time. Will they be a little bit more cautious? That looks a lot better line from M. Dorling through 6 and 7 and then 8. Back on the power, that banked curb of the hairpin at 13. We'll see a lot of drivers tap the wall here as they go through 16, as indeed M. Dorling appeared to do just that. Will scrub off a 10th or two, perhaps more, and I hope they will not have damaged that Aston Martin, because they're not going to have a chance to do this again. Is improving by 2.5 tenths so far as they come through sector 2. Is that Obo in front of them? It is Obo in front of them, but not able to assist with the toe. But there are plenty of cars around that can help M. Dorling here, including the Red Bull in front of us. So as M. Dorling gets back on the power again, David Zvat goes faster, 127.412 for the Red Bull. And M. Dorling does improve, 128.439 by just under 3 tenths as M. Dorling pulls out the way, lets a number of fast charging cars coming past them. Let's get to Obo. And we'll see if they can improve on that 128.807. Look at my timing screens. There's a lot of drivers improving, but nobody yet going purple. So Obo trying to do just that as they really try to hang on to that Aston Martin, just as their teammate was doing. Obo is up by just over a 10th through sector 1. Back on the power again. We've got another car in front of us. I think that's another one. That might well be Emeleki in front of us in the other Red Bull. Nice line from Obo. Hopefully wasn't distracted by that car parked up on the inside there. But Obo doing their best to improve. Going to come through the end of sector 2 here. He's up by nearly 4 tenths for Obo. It's going well. Hang on it to it, Obo. Now we'll get a lovely slipstream from the car in front. Probably about the perfect distance for them here. This could be a good time from Obo, 128.807. Oh, and Obo brakes way too late into turn 27. Not the ideal line from them. As GoatGhosty goes faster again to 127.289. And Obo does improve to 128.456, but tucks in behind their teammate. SS7 has improved as well, 128.342. Welcome back, SS7. Good qualifying from you. Jaguar Paul, good to have Jaguar Paul back, 128.674. Very close in the midfield here for sure. Daddy Talk won't be improving on this lap. 129.198, and their teammate Big Tonk with a 129.788. Monty has retired. Gorezaaa has retired. They're going to start 12th and 13th. But GoatGhosty is on pole position here in Jeddah. Very good qualifying from Goat. They've got David Savat on their outside as they head into turn 1 on the first lap of the main race. So we'll look forward to seeing how this goes. We very much hope David doesn't compromise Goat's championship, but it's all racing here, so they're going to have to have their wits about them. So GoatGhosty on pole position for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. David Svat alongside them for Red Bull in their return to G-Force Racing. Good qualifying from Tom in third there, with Jakub, our championship leader, alongside them. Then comes Emeleki. Great qualifying in the end from Emeleki. 128.1. They are finding pace. SS7 alongside them. It's like old times here in G-Force Racing. Followed by M. Dorling and Obo, 7th and 8th. Then comes Jakub, Daddy Tonk and Big Tonk. I am very much looking forward to this one, folks. This could go down to the wire. Let me know in the Twitch chat, folks, who do you think is going to do well in this one. I will open up the commentary VC because I can see my good friend Monty is in there. Hey, Monty, how you doing?
Yeah, all right, mate.
Now, are you going to do the race?
Probably.
Yeah, good man. Okay, so I will have a quick chat with you before the race starts, but then I'll leave you to that before when the racing actually gets underway. Was qualifying a bit of a struggle?
Yeah, I'm not good at this track at all, mate.
Is it the walls, or is it the curbs, or is it just everything?
The balls.
The walls. Yeah, they've caught me out many a time. But
yeah,
David...
I was on a good lap, and I hit the wall in that corner.
Do you run quite high wings, or try and keep it low around here just for the straights?
I keep it high, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, Monty. Just keep it out of the wall, keep it out of trouble, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a few drivers not finish today, so there could be points for you, just if you keep it pointing in the right direction. All right, race is starting. I'm going to leave Monty. All right, folks, let's go racing for the next round of G-Force Racing Season 4 here in Saudi Arabia. Go. Let's David Svat through, and I don't blame them at this point. They might let David disappear off into the distance here for a lap or two, because their fight is not with David, it's with Jakub. And Jakub is... Oh, and I think Goat's had a moment there. And that's allowed everyone through. So Tom is through, Jakub's through, SS7 is through on GoatGhosty. Not the best of starts for the McLaren driver. They have slotted back in behind SS7. And David Savat leads the way and is looking to get out of the range of DRS. They've done it already from Tom 1998. They're already a second clear. Helped, I'm not surprised by Goat having a moment there in the early corners of this first lap, and Jakub is already up through on Tom 1998, so Jakub means business here in Saudi Arabia. Qualifying didn't quite go their way, although Jakub went a little bit wide coming through turn 22 into 23, so look out for track limits here, and Monty sadly already retired, and we have a virtual safety car as a result, so that's a stricken RB early on in this race. Sorry, Mods, you were on mute on the stream, but you can say that again. So you pushed into the wall around about, was that turn 10? Yeah.
I went to overtake Big Tom, and I just flipped his back and went into the wall.
And that is a risk here on these early laps with the tyres being a little bit cold and a lot of cars in the same part of the circuit. So that's brought a VSC out for us, so our drivers won't necessarily bunch up. They will have to drive to a delta here, but they are already very close together, so they'll be keeping an eye on that delta and won't want the car in front to get too far ahead of them. We're back under green flag racing here, and that has allowed Jakub to get back in to the range of DRS early on, but they've got Tom 1998 right behind them, followed by SS7, who's had a very good start here at the expense of GoatGhosty. Embeleki there in 6th, Jakub in 7th, Gorezaaa already up into 8th, so great start from Gorezaaa. Obo and M. Dorling have had an absolute shocker. Monty, did you happen to see anything that happened with the Aston Martins, why they seem to be down there in 9th and 10th?
I think Obo turned into M. Dolan and then they both spun.
Whoa, that'll be an interesting team conversation at some point, either during or after this race. We're on lap 2 of 25, folks. We've got a way to go yet to decide who's going to be victorious here in Saudi Arabia. Let me bring up the tyres for us all so we can see which strategies people are on. Tom there on the hards, as is GoatGhosty, SS7 and Jakub. Lots of fast times coming in, mainly through to the benefit of DRS now being enabled. So Tom, GoatGhosty, Embeleki and M. Dorling. Well, M. Dorling just has been into the pits, so M. Dorling must have picked up some damage in those early exchanges, dropped them right back to 12th. And hard tyres, Monty, how long do you reckon they would go in this race? Do you reckon M. Dorling could take their new ones all the way to the end, or are they going to have to pit again?
No, they won't last to the end. I reckon they'll last a couple, maybe about 12 laps, and then they'll have to pit.
Yeah, got it.
It'll probably be hard onto mediums, in my opinion.
It looked like we had a ghosting David Svat there, so I wonder if either a connectivity issue or I had to hit the AI button briefly. SS7 is looking racy here, putting Tom 1998 under some pressure. We're going to come up to that infamous turn 22 I was referencing a little bit earlier, where theoretically there's an opportunity to overtake, but you've got to have a very trusting driver alongside you to make that one work safely. SS7 decided much better of it. The hard runners here looking to be in the box seat, particularly Tom and Goat, and maybe that explains Goat's early troubles with some cold, hard tyres. Happy to concede the odd position with the hope that the race will come back to them. SS7 got some good pace here as Jakub sets the fastest lap of the race, and SS7 trying to go around the outside of Tom will have the inside of turn 2, but Tom will have the better acceleration on the outside of 2 here through 3, then into turn 4, where we will see the odd front wing start disappearing as our drivers get a little bit more tired and the confidence and the tyre grip starts to wane. So SS7 tugs back in behind Tom 1998 here. Got a very, very good drive though, as SS7 goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn 10. Big Tonk, the first driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Now you'd think there isn't much room for track limits here, with the walls being in very close proximity, but as two drivers are very ably demonstrating, there's plenty of spaces to get a track limit warning around here, and if you get 3 of them you'll get a 3-second time penalty. Monty, you've obviously been out on track. Which is the track limit area that gets you the most?
Is it turn 5 and 6 where it's like the right-hander into the left-hander?
Yeah,
I think that's the because if you go wide there or lose a bit, then yeah, that's like
yeah, and it's already caught out a couple of our drivers. Now looking at the tyre strategies, we've got a handful on hards. I'm thinking with Tom 1998 where he is right now, although David Svat setting the fastest lap of 1:30.994, these times will continue to come down. I'm thinking Tom 1998 looks a favourite at this moment, barring a safety car at some point. But those hard runners are in a good position. Do you think?
Yeah. If you're on hards, obviously you make it longer, and then if you make it longer, obviously, fucking hell, I've lost words. Obviously, you can.
So that's what I'm here for. But it looks as though we've got a change for the lead at the front. So let me interrupt you just very briefly while you collect some of those words. With David Svat back through on, or actually battling, I should say, with Jakub here for first place, the lead of this Grand Prix. That is allowing Tom 1998 to stay very close to them these medium tyres will be wearing out at a rate of knots. Jeddah has been known to eat up a few sets of tyres in its time. I'm very impressed with SS7's drive, and Jaguar Paul is up in to 6th. They've gone well. Emma Leckie has dropped back a little bit. Maybe those hard tyres not quite working for them. Jakub looking down the inside here of the Red Bull, and Tom 1998 is going with them. Has the inside for turn 27, and will have the acceleration with the toe potentially from the Mercedes in front of them. They'll have the inside going into turn 1, but with the advantage DRS that David has, they're back through. Oh, this is wheel to wheel as we go into turn 1 between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. Tom right behind them, SS7 battling with GoatGhosty, then Jaguar Paul. And yeah, absolutely, Monty was contact there, and Jaguar Paul getting into the mix. Obo also there, and Gorezaaa after an excellent start, but a reasonably poor qualifying by their standards, really coming into play here. Monty, any of these front 8 could probably win this.
Yeah, really, really good ball. Brilliant stop by Gorezaaa as well.
Excellent driving from all of these front runners here at the moment. Goat is just trying to keep out of trouble, I think, right now, playing the longer game, but all of our drivers fighting for points because there's so many honours up for grabs. Absolutely nothing is decided in either the drivers or the constructors championship, and the Mercedes team going very well, currently running in 2nd and 4th right now, could help them extend their lead in the constructors championship, but there's a long way to go. Lap 6 of 25. Let's ride on board with Tom 1998. We'll see how turn 27 unfolds. It looks as though both of the Mercedes and the Alpine getting past David Savat here. They would have to take a much tighter line through turn 27. Tom now up into 2nd. Those hard tyres will be starting to come into their own as the mediums start to dissipate into turn 1. Heavy braking here, one of the heaviest braking zones on this circuit, taking huge chunks of curb, putting the Mercedes of Jakub under pressure. SS7 holding GoatGhosty at bay, but sticking with David Savat in front of them. Jaguar Paul has not made their way through on GoatGhosty. Oh, and that's Tom 1998 losing it big time as they came through turn 5 there. Massive moment for the Alpine. Massive moment. Tom back up and running, has picked up some front wing damage as a result of that. We were a front row seat for that moment, and that's so easily done round there, Monty. The back end stepping out the Alpine.
Lost both his wings.
Oh, wow, massive moment here in this race in Jeddah indeed. David Savat, huge damage on the front wing of that Red Bull. So both David and Tom, they're going to have to pit, aren't they, Monty?
Yeah, I missed it.
We'll watch the stream back later. What a moment that was. Let's get back to the front.
Yeah, I just got a replay of that. He just loses it into that corner, doesn't he?
Really, the back end of that Alpine just let go, and at that point, Tom was a passenger. So Tom and David Savat leave this battle at the front for now, at least. A safety car will change all of that, and they haven't dropped back too far, but they're all going to have to go some as the Mercedes now lead the way here in Jeddah. Jakub from SS7, GoatGhosty now up into 3rd place. Is Jakub going to get another victory here in the G-Force Racing League? Looking a lot better now for Goat, who will have much grippier, softer tyres for the second half of this race, and could well take victory. Take nothing for granted though, as we just saw. And SS7 may have just had a moment there. They've come in under real pressure from GoatGhosty, and they have dropped out of the range of DRS. Their teammate Jakub really needs to drop back and help out SS7 here, because in no time at all SS7 is going to get swallowed up by the McLaren, by the Williams, by the Aston Martin and the fast charging Gorezaaa. Jaguar Paul now thinking of making a move on GoatGhosty around the back of the circuit here. So Jaguar Paul having a cracking race here as Goat goes through on SS7 into turn 22. That's how you do it. Oh, Goat goes wide. 3-second penalty for the McLaren driver at this early stage in the race. Well, there you go, Monty. It even catches out the best in this league. We're not alone.
Yeah, he's got to
Not
catch
well.
up the best of his caught me. No, I'm joking.
Well, that moves. Go into second on track, but they've now got that 3-second time penalty as Jaguar is the first to blink into the pits. I didn't see any damage on that Williams. That's quite an early pit stop, Monty, do you think, for Jaguar, or maybe they're going for two-stop strategy?
They go for a two-stop. It's actually quite smart, really, because if it's a safety car, then we're sorted, really.
Well, they are on to brand new hard tyres. We'll see how far Jaguar goes in those. But you're right, it might be a smart move from Jaguar, and they do know how to read a race. They've been on the cards for driver of the day for
Obo.
Obo
Jesus
and
Christ.
Gorezaaa. A very aggressive defence from Obo there, but holds on to fourth place. But Gorezaaa is coming, looking to get a second victory in a row here with G-Force Racing. Cracking drive from them last week, as I said earlier, in the feature race in Monza after finishing outside the points in the sprint race last week. But it's coming together for them here. But Obo is not done either. SS7 struggling now on those medium tyres. Jaguar may have got it right, Monty, because we're seeing SS7 not able to hang on to the back of GoatGhosty.
No.
And actually now coming under attack from Obo. Do you think SS7 should go in now?
Yeah, it's got to.
Looks like he's staying
I
out
couldn't
one more
stay
time.
out.
He hasn't. No, I thought, and it almost looked like Obo was not intentionally blocking their entrance to the pit lane, but SS7 didn't really make a move towards it. But that has let both Obo and Gorezaaa through. The other option, Monty, might be that SS7 tries to hang on with the benefit of DRS to Obo and Gorezaaa as well, and perhaps let the others try and close down.
SS7's died.
Say that again, Monty. Sorry, I was talking over you.
No, I said he went wide. And if he stays in the DRS of Gorezaaa and pulls himself along with the old tyres, it would be quite smart, to be honest, because it's saving time in the race. They've pit for new tyres.
Certainly they're struggling, it would seem, on these mediums, so perhaps trying to hang on to the back end of the Sauber and the Aston Martin. No bad strategy. Obo's got some pace all of a sudden, and this second half of the season has really seen Obo grow into this game, desperately trying to get within DRS of GoatGhosty. Not quite able to do it because Goat is on the rear end of Jakub for the lead of this race. Remember, as Emeleki picks up a 3-second time penalty, GoatGhosty is going to go through on Jakub into the lead of this race, and will now need to scamper off into the distance if they can, and at least have 3 seconds over the car behind them to take outright victory here.
And Jakub pit.
Obo is in, yes. Jakub's gone in, yep. So these medium runners coming in. Gorezaaa and SS7 have stayed out though, Monty, so looking to hold on to a bit more grip towards the end of the race. A brave move, I suppose, but a safety car right now will really play into their hands.
Yeah.
So we're back with Tom 1998 recovering from that moment, a big moment they had earlier, onto some new tyres, some repairs for damage, and they are circulating here in fourth, looking to get back into the fight for victory here. Goat is 1.6 seconds clear in the lead with their championship challenger. Tom is struggling with that Alpine all of a sudden here after some very early pace. So Goat needs to disappear off into the distance, and they've got the track to themselves at the moment. SS7 has done a pretty decent job to stay with Gorezaaa, so trying to get a bit of a tyre offset. Let's get down. Oh, Big Tonk being passed here. It's going to be 3 wide. Oh, my word, that was some... Oh, they're still fighting out between the Ferrari, the Mercedes, and the Williams of Jaguar. Jaguar with much older... apologies. Big Tonk with the oldest tyres here. Those 10-lap-old mediums. Great battle here as Jakub's trying to make their way back through the field and has got through on Jaguar with Jakub on those brand new hard tyres. Moves through and Jaguar Paul. And maybe Jaguar Paul will sit in the slipstream of the Mercedes. As Big Tonk heads into the pits to get off of those medium tyres. Daddy Tonk, their teammate, has just done the same thing.
And Gorezaaa gets an undercut on SS7.
So Gorezaaa and SS7, yep, the Gorezaaa, well, we knew Gorezaaa was pretty much leading SS7, dragging SS7 around, so they've come out pretty much where they were, but SS7 needs to get back into the DRS of Gorezaaa as quickly as possible.
Ooh.
As SS7 starts to pick up some track limit warnings, and that's the first 3 seconds for SS7. I'm going to take a look at penalties, Monty, for the benefit of our viewers. So we've got 3 seconds for GoatGhosty as we approach the halfway point here in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. 3 seconds for Emeleki, who's now moved up into third and is on the rear end of Tom 1998. M. Dorling there with 3 seconds, having pitted and recovering from that early damage. Also with 3. SS7 now with 3 seconds. We just saw that come up on screen. Daddy Tonk with 6 and Big Tonk with 6. We've got 12 runners here. Do you think we'll get 12 drivers finishing this race, Monty?
Not at all.
Oh, we should have more faith, Monty, but I'm the same as you. I think there's going to be a moment and perhaps a surprise moment for some, but drivers have proven me wrong before. Let me get to Jakub and Jaguar Paul. Looks like a good battle here, Monty, between the Mercedes and the Williams. Jakub has not got away from Jaguar Paul here, and that's bringing Obo back into play, and of course Gorezaaa and SS7. So Jakub not having it their own way at all today. And this is the point where we saw Tom 1998 have the really huge moment through 7 and 8. And Jakub under all sorts of pressure from Jaguar Paul behind them, and then Obo behind Jaguar Paul. Let's go back to tyres. So our front runners of Goat, Tom 1998, Emeleki and M. Dorling, all on hard tyres. Looks like Monty. Looks like a good recovery from M. Dorling, and you're probably right. They're going to pit again. Do you think? Almost certainly. I may have lost Monty briefly there for a moment. I'm sure he will be back with me in no time at all. Sorry. Go ahead,
the
Monty.
hard tyres aren't going to last this long. I can see GoatGhosty, Tom, Emeleki, and Dorling diving into the pits this lap.
Well, let's get up the front. We'll see. So they've just come past the start-finish straight. Emeleki has really stuck to the rear end of that Alpine, running in third as Jakub goes fastest, or then followed by Gorezaaa, 1:30.720. Lock up from Emeleki, and they've caught the front end. Oh, we seem to be with drivers as they're having moments here today. That's Emeleki losing their part of their front wing. Emeleki will have to go in now. So that strategy, unfortunately, may not work out as they want. More time penalties. David Savat and Obo now with 3 seconds each, playing into the hands of Tom 1998, who, oh no, they are still carrying damage, Monty. I thought they pitted, but that's impressive driving from Tom, Monty. They're still driving around, currently in second on track, but with that damaged front end, Tom's still got some good pace.
Yeah, play.
Better him than me, because I certainly would not be able to, as Jaguar Paul continues to follow Jakub in the Mercedes around, dragging Obo with them. Gorezaaa is on to the rear end now of Obo. Let's ride on board with Gorezaaa. We'll have to be selective about if they make a move on the Aston Martin in front of them. Jakub doing all the hard work at the moment, dragging this train of cars.
Tom dives into the pits.
Tom is in, thank you, Monty. So
And Emeleki.
We knew Emeleki would have to go in with that damage. So we'll see what the undercut is like on these cars who've already come in for their pit stop.
Oh, he's lost it.
Oh, Emeleki, was that Emeleki, did you say?
GoatGhosty just spun it. He's lost it.
Oh my word. Let's get up to Goat. And
He's
as
got
a
wing
tense,
damage. He's got a pit.
that is dreadful news for GoatGhosty. It seems like our drivers are doing their best to throw this one away. That's big front wing damage for GoatGhosty. Good spot, Monty. So Goat will have to come in this time around. I think they were probably planning to pit around about now anyway, but that is going to be a huge time loss to have to replace that front wing. So massive moment in the championship here, and we see, I'm just trying to work this out, so not a huge advantage, Monty, it would seem, that those who pitted earlier have gained just yet. We will see. We're just staying with, see when they come in. M. Dorling is going to inherit the lead of this race when Goat does come in, unless M. Dorling decides to do exactly the same thing. So we'll stay with Goat as Jakub has now got onto the rear end of M. Dorling, has DRS on the Aston Martin. Obo's 3 on Jaguar Paw, as this will be a painful stop, Monty, for GoatGhosty.
Yeah, I feel really bad. He's got to gain an extra 4 seconds in the pit, and he's lost 10 seconds in the actual race. He's had a really good race as well.
Driven so well up until that
back
point.
Into the fight, but...
Yeah, sorry to cut across you. Yeah, Goats had driven so well up until that point. Out on brand new medium tyres. Watch for a fast charging McLaren. Got to make their way through the field at a rate of knots with just 10 laps of this race left to go. Time to get back up to the front. M. Dorling is now the cork in the bottle in this race. M. Dorling has pitted, of course. Ooh, as we see, Obo and Gorezaaa, cracking battle here, bringing Jaguar Paw now having dropped back a little bit from this, being overtaken by the two of them. Maybe we'll ride on board with Jaguar Paw. We get a front row seat for this battle with Gorezaaa and Obo. Sorry, Monty, say it again.
Oscar, Jakub takes the lead of the race. Brilliant move.
Excellent work by Jakub, moving up into the lead of this race. Looking very good for them now, as Gorezaaa is looking to hunt down the Aston Martin, or the two Aston Martins in front of them. But this will be interesting, Monty. So M. Dorling is essentially looking to protect Obo here, I think.
Yeah, no.
As M. Dorling ducks into the pits. So that's M. Dorling out of the way of their teammate, but gives a huge boost to Obo, who can now get back on to the rear end of Jakub in front of them. But bear in mind, Obo is carrying that 3-second time penalty. Gorezaaa has none, Jakub has none, and Jaguar Paw has none. Jaguar Paw could get their first podium here with G-Force Racing. Definitely on the cards for them this week. Goat is up into ninth, battling with that's with Goat and M. Dorling coming out as M. Dorling comes out the pits. So Goat up into ninth, onto the rear end of Emeleki. Keep an eye on that McLaren moving its way up the field. They've got probably, Monty, do you think Goat has got enough time and enough grip to get through this field?
To be honest, it is possible. You've seen it earlier in the season from Goat. He's a brilliant driver in that McLaren seat. So I reckon he could still try and pull off a top 5 finish today.
Well, Goat is about to set the fastest lap of the race. They're purple in sector 1. That fastest lap so far, 1:30.720. Most of our drivers doing in the mid 1:31s at the moment. So Goat has got a traffic to navigate, as well as time to close down. A lot of hard work for Goat here. Got to get past Emeleki. And Gorezaaa looking down the inside of Obo. Not able to make that work. Obo taps the back end of the Mercedes in front, but holds on. Jakub manages to hold on to that first place on track. Goat does go faster. 1:29.794. Fastest lap of the race so far. So Gorezaaa not able to find a way through on Obo. Jakub holding the lead of this race. It's a very good battle at the front, but SS7 now onto the rear end of Jakub. Tom picks up a 3-second time penalty. Let's get to GoatGhosty. desperately trying to close down on the lead of this race. That stop for a change of front wheel, Monty, that's really hurt Goat here. They're now actually dragging Emeleki with them. They've got 3.5 seconds to make up on David Svat. If they can do it though, then they've got another 6-second gap to SS7. It's that damage to the McLarens. I think that's probably destroyed their race, sadly, for Goat. But if anyone can do it, he can. But it's looking like a bit of a stretch at this point. Well, Obo's taken the lead, sorry, Monty, before you could come in. I had to quickly saw that out of the corner of my eye. Obo is up into the lead of this race. Jakub will now have DRS on the Aston Martin, but now they've got Gorezaaa to contend with, who currently in third, trying to find a way through.
Oh.
Jakub thinks better of that. What better way to attack? Defend by... Well, yeah, what a better way to defend than to attack. But that may not work out for them. They've had to drop back in behind Obo. And so Gorezaaa has to think about another move. What's Monty? What's Gorezaaa got to do here? Do they wait to the very last few laps, or would you be looking to get past as quickly as possible?
I would say I'd be patient right now and wait for the last couple of laps.
We've got a yellow flag in sector 1, and that is a Williams.
Again. He's won it.
Who's that? Sorry. David Svat. More damage, sadly, for David Svat. Dropped back down to 11th place. That will be another new wing from the Red Bull store that will need to go on the front of that car. Otherwise, David will sadly be going not much faster in this race. So, David having a couple of moments just in a way like they did in Qatar, but they've got so much pace. Put that consistency together as we get the helicopter view. What a great view as we see Jakub get through on Obo. It does look as though Gorezaaa fancies a bit of this, and they are through also. Gorezaaa up into second here, and now on the rear end. This is playing into the hands of Gorezaaa, I think, for a second victory here. Jakub cannot afford to battle too hard with Gorezaaa. Oh, that's it. Wheel to wheel again. We've got 3 wide now as we come out of turn 2. What an excellent battle once again between Mercedes, Sauber and Aston Martin. This time we haven't got M. Dorling in this battle. It's Obo. And Obo looking for their first ever victory.
David's flat.
And David has Is David DNF'd? Yes, David has DNF'd. I think in the pits. So we lose. Oh no, safety car. Oh wow. Well, that puts the cat amongst the pigeons. Right, everyone's into the pits, aren't they, at this point? Monty?
Yeah. It changes everything for the hard runners.
Well, Jakub, Gorezaaa, Obo. Drive-through penalty for Emeleki. A bit of a heavy foot on the way in to the pit lane for Emeleki. That's very unfortunate. I would say, folks, if you're watching this for the first time, never take all the in-game penalties as read. The game has been known to get it wrong a few times, but we can only work with what we see on screen. So for now, at least, Emeleki has a 10-second time penalty. I do remember seeing... it's a drive-through. My apologies for Emeleki. So it was speeding under the safety car from Emeleki, and another 3 seconds for Emeleki. It's gone from bad to worse for Emeleki. Tom is carrying 13 seconds. That will be for speeding.
I think Dorling and Tom won't pit. Yeah, Tom hasn't pit.
Indeed, Tom
stays out in Tom's favour.
Well, he has nothing to lose, I suppose, at this point. Or he would.
No.
Well, maybe you come in and clear those 10 seconds at least, I would have thought. But no, Tom has stayed out. M. Dorling has stayed out. I don't blame M. Dorling necessarily, because they're gaining track position on what is a very tight track with only a handful of laps left to go. And we're going to see at least 1 or 2 of those under a safety car. So we're probably going to have a 3-lap dash for the very end of this race. Jakub has come out in third on brand new soft tyres. Gorezaaa has done exactly the same thing. We should put the tyres up now. Obo on softs, Jaguar SS7. Goat has gone to mediums. Maybe they have none who softs left, I suppose, Monty, but both Goat and Emeleki on medium tyres. Do you think they just run out of softs?
Probably. I saw go out twice with double soft, so there's always a possibility that he's run out.
So we're waiting for when the safety car may come in. We're just halfway around this lap 21 of 25. At least 4 more laps to go.
It's gonna be a last lap shootout between Oscar and Gorezaaa because of the penalties, and because of Obo's penalty, it means I don't think he will win it either. But Gorezaaa with a massive chance of winning his second Grand Prix this season.
Definitely. And I don't see Jakub really fighting too hard, knowing where Goat is, and Goat not on those soft tyres. Everyone in front of them is going to have so much more grip in the first lap or two, at least. Although Goat does do their research, and we spoke to them, just as their teammate Mac T does. We spoke to Mac T after the Canadian Grand Prix, who went on to mediums when everyone around them was on Mac T went on to hards when everyone around them was on softs. Mac T happened to win the race, so it's not over yet for Goat, and this safety car certainly helps them limit potential damage. Jaguar is sitting very pretty there, currently 6th on track, but everyone around them on penalties, and the drivers in front of them on some very substantial penalties in Tom 1998 and M. Dorling's got 6 seconds. Remember, Tom's got 13 seconds. So Jaguar very possibly going to get a podium here, their first ever one for G-Force Racing. SS7, they're in 7th, but they're going to have GoatGhosty right behind them. How much does SS7 want to hold up Goat here? SS7, remember, our league owner, who's also been improving in recent weeks, will have something to prove. Will also be looking to have a second race finish on the podium. As we wait for the safety car to come back in. We won't count out a few of the other drivers a bit further down the grid as well. M. Dorling actually finished 4th here in Season 2. M1 Righty was the victor. Joe Bean in 2nd, SHS Predestinato, our Season 1 champion, finished in 3rd. But M. Dorling was 4th, SS7 was in 5th. But tells you how much Obo's improved. Obo DNF'd in that Season 2 race. So Obo having a much better race here. Safety car is in this lap. We're going to go racing one more time on lap 23. So Tom is going to become the safety car now. He's going to set the pace here. Obo, I'm nervous. Turn 1, all of these cars ploughing into there. There could be carnage, but I wonder how many of these play it safe. Oh, a 10-second penalty for Big Tonk. A big collision with Emeleki, it would seem. As we start lap 23, Tom is leading them away. Looked like a pretty decent getaway from the Alpine, but M. Dorling's gone straight with them. Does Jakub look to find a way through on the Aston Martin of M. Dorling? They do take a look as M. Dorling holds the outside line. We'll have the inside of turn 2, but has dropped back, and M. Dorling on much older medium tyres compared to those very grippy softs. Well, Jakub had to make that move early, I guess, Monty. They've got to get it away from everyone behind them.
Yeah. Need to.
Here comes Gorezaaa now on M. Dorling. Lane also needs to go with them. That's a 3-second time penalty for Big Tonk. It's gone from bad to worse for Big Tonk at the moment, who was running in a point-scoring position, but big penalties for them, as it looks as though Emeleki's been back into the pits again. So unfortunately not working out for Big Tonk at this moment in time, and Eleki seems to be going backwards, but perhaps through no fault of their own. Gorezaaa now desperately trying to find a way through on M. Dorling with those super grippy soft tyres. Jakub also trying to get back into the lead of this race on Tom 1998. What a great battle we've got for the last few laps here of round 10 of G-Force Racing in season 4. Tom is defending for his life, but he's being absolutely swallowed up by Gorezaaa. M. Dorling, Gorezaaa trying to go around the outside, not able to. They do get past M. Dorling, but can't get through on Jakub. M. Dorling,
Gorezaaa right now.
Obo gets through on M. Dorling. M. Dorling taking to the edge of the pit lane, and here comes Jakub through on the inside of the Alpine. But what great defence from Jakub. From Tom 1998. Holding off the charging Jakub behind them. These medium tyres are not done just yet, as that's wide from Gorezaaa. Obo, as a result, gets through into third. Gorezaaa drops back into fourth. M. Dorling protecting their teammates best they can from Jaguar. They're in sixth place. And that's Gorezaaa with a 3-second time penalty.
No,
possibly getting pushed a little bit wide there. I don't know. Did you have better sight of that, Monty?
No, he couldn't do anything there. That won't be a penalty if he sends that into incident report.
Thank you, Monty. So a possibility for some of these to get removed, and the FIA will take a look at the clips from our drivers at the end of today's race. Quick mention for the Ferrari of Daddy Tonk. We've not really spent any time with Daddy Tonk, but I am sure he'll understand given everything that's gone on in this race. So Jakub is not able to challenge yet the Alpine of Tom 1998, who leads on track but with a big time penalty. Jakub will do it now. Oh no, they think better of it one more time, as Tom seems to have an awful lot of pace.
Last lap, this is what I'm saying.
Where are you going to call it from here, Monty? Who's going to win it?
Gorezaaa.
Could it be Gorezaaa? Or Obo sees an opportunity, goes down the inside of the Alpine. Jakub is up into the lead of this race on the final lap. Obo has gone with him, the 3-second time penalty. With Gorezaaa currently carrying a 3-second time penalty, Jaguar is going to finish in second. We do think that there's every possibility Gorezaa's track limit penalty will be removed. But Jaguar could well be on the second step of the podium based on what we see on screen right now. Another 3 seconds for Daddy Tonk, sadly for them, but Daddy Tonk running there in ninth, who I was speaking about a moment ago. So Daddy Tonk likely to score points here once again. Goat Monty has not been able to make any progress at all. They're still there in seventh. So another bad day at the office for Goat, unfortunately. Oh, there's a moment there for Obo, it seems. So Obo drops back. Gorezaaa is through. Here comes Jaguar on Obo up into third. So Obo having a huge moment there. Jakub streaking away now. He's going to win here. There's always a massive crash between SS7 and Obo through that infamous 22. And so Jakub leads and he's going to win here in Saudi Arabia. Gorezaaa is probably going to come over the line in second, but he's under all sorts of pressure here from Jaguar trying to get through on Gorezaaa. Can Jaguar do it on track? Jaguar being overtaken by multiple cars, or trying to be. Wow. Okay, pick the pose out of that one. What the screen is telling us is Jakub's won. We're pretty much certain that is going to be the case. But where the others finished, Jaguar is shown second on screen, Gorezaaa third, Goat incredibly fourth, but that will no doubt be to SS7, another non-scoring race for SS7 in season 4. David T will have his stats out one more time, but this season has not gone SS7's way after what was looking like a very promising drive. What an incredible end to that race. Monty, I've tried my best to try and describe what I saw. Tell me what you saw with those final corners of that race.
Carnage. Absolute carnage.
Goodness me. Well, the game has given driver of the day to Jaguar. Monty, who are you going to give your driver of the day to here in Saudi Arabia?
I would say Gorezaaa.
A very good drive from Gorezaaa. Once again, a high likelihood that they will get that track limit penalty removed based on what we saw, but we will see when that clip comes through. I'm going to give driver of the day to Jakub because they needed to win today. The championship is on the line. Very tight battle, all sorts of things going on. But they did come home victorious. So there's our final classification. Jakub takes victory here in Saudi Arabia with just 2 rounds left to go. Jaguar Paul came home in second. Brilliant drive from Jaguar Paul. 18 points from him. May get corrected. We will see. Gorezaaa there in third. GoatGhosty eventually recovers into fourth and has fastest lap, so does limit some of the damage, but they've got a bit of a mountain to climb in the final stages. Aston Martin finished 5th and 6th, Obo and M. Dorling, not a bad recovery in the end. Tom 1998 in 7th, and then the 2 Ferraris of Daddy Tonk and Big Tonk. All right, Monty, I'm going to leave you in the commentary box, and I'm going to see if any of our drivers will talk to me. All right, and first of all, got to go and speak to our winner, Jakub, in Mercedes Garage.
Been a pleasure to contact with you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Monty. Appreciate you being here. Feel free to stick around. I will be back. So,
All right, see ya.
let me head over to the Mercedes Garage, the victorious Mercedes Garage, and also despair for SS7. So, Victor, first of all, Jakub, congratulations. Great drive. You were my driver of the day. How was it for you? And did you think you could hang on to victory today?
It was a great race today, quite clean, but I really didn't think that I could get a podium win today. I thought the podium was maybe possible, but with what Ghosty and David did in quali, I just thought this championship is over. Ghosty will get the win, and it will be close again.
Well, it was looking that way early on. I mean, Goat was driving imperiously, had it all under control. Strategy seemed to be coming their way. Would have had a bit of work to do on the medium tyres, but big damage for them around about their pit stop window, and that opened up the race for you. So huge congratulations. We'll see what that does to the points later, but I do need to talk to your teammate, Jakub.
Yeah.
SS7, can you tell us what happened from your perspective through turn 22 and 23?
I just saw the gap around 23, went for it. Obo obviously had no grip, so he couldn't turn anymore. And I just got pinched into the wall. And then, obviously, car fell into pieces.
We did see that. We did catch that on the stream. So big action.
Yeah, no. Had it have been like, I don't know, a few laps before, I probably would have backed out of it, knowing that corner is very, very tricky. But the fact that it was last lap and it was for track position, I was like, I've just got to go for it. The high risk, high reward.
Indeed,
No,
indeed.
Yeah.
Well, it was going well for you, though, up until that point. So it seemed as though you weren't carrying many penalties. About 3 seconds, was it?
No, that was it. Yeah, no more warnings after that, which was annoying.
All right, well, bad luck this week. 2 rounds to go, and it was looking good. But congratulations, Jakub, one more time. I'm going to leave you boys now, but thanks for talking to me. And I'll see you for the next round in Spain.
See you later.
See you too.
All right, let's go and have a quick chat with the Aston Martins. Now, I'm in the Aston Martin garage.
Hello.
Our writing team for GeForce Racing, M. Dorling, Obo, welcome. So, I don't know where really to start. Obo, I'm going to come to you. I was just talking to SS7 about the final lap and what happened there. I think it said it himself. He looking to hang on to track position. They lost out big time. How did you see it from your perspective?
All a bit of a blur to be perfectly honest. But I was heading for that wall. I had no grip. I was heading towards the wall, and SS7 was on that side. I couldn't turn anymore.
And there was no accusations of bad driving. I think there was recognition of the circumstances around all of that. So,
No bad driving at all. I think everyone's just on the limit, and that's where you've got to be in this league to have any good result.
Yeah, well, it was looking like a very good race for you, and not too bad a finish. I'm not quite sure after the FIA gets various clips today where it's all going to end up, but it was very exciting to watch you. M. Dorling, though, I've got to come to you. What happened early on? I think it was a very early pit stop for you.
I think it was lap 1 or 2. Just decided to roll the dice. Plain and simply, didn't have any damage. That was just trying something different. I figured there'd be a few safety cars, possibly allowing me to go onto mediums come the end, which kind of almost got there, but ended up with way too many penalties to even try.
But you did still at least get a points finishing position, and not a bad one either. That. So I will let you guys go and have a well-deserved rest. Obo, thank you once again for your stepping in for M. Dorling this week with the insights. Very much appreciated, and to both of you for doing that. So have a great week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you in Spain next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you both. Thanks, guys. All right, Goat is still on. I'll see if GoatGhosty will talk to me. Goat, are you still there?
Yeah, I am here. Hello.
Hello. So, it was looking really good for you first half of that race. You looked as though you had it all under control. And then, did the car let go? Was it a mistake? It was needed a new front wing. That was the outcome.
My plan was to go very long to have the tyres at the end, as Saudi is quite an easy track to overtake from. I was going to go pit that lap, and then I just lost the rear, and after that I was in the wall, and I'm surprised I didn't DNF, to be honest, because I hit it pretty hard. But after that, yeah, I broke my front wing, and I also damaged my rear wing, which decreased my stability throughout the rest of the race.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's quite a rarity, the rear wing to go as well. And we saw you pit onto in the safety car onto mediums when everyone else around you was on softs. Was that by choice, or you just have no softs left?
It's kind of both. I know the softs die out very quickly around every track pretty much, and Saudi is no different. The mediums felt very nice for the time I was on them, and yeah, it was a choice. I didn't have any fresh mediums, not mediums, softs anyway. So yeah, it was by choice and by strategy as well.
Yeah. Well, you certainly had the pace today. We were sorry to see where you ended up finishing, but damage limited to a certain degree, with provisional fourth at least right now and fastest lap. It's going to be a bit of a challenge to take the championship at this point, but if anyone can do it, you can. How do you rate your chances for the last two races of the season?
It's gonna be tough, I have to say that, but a message to Desvest, I guess. Jakub, I'm on you.
Love it.
I'm
Love
there.
Fighting talk from GoatGhosty. Thank you ever so much, sir, for talking to me. We keep our fingers crossed, hopefully for a less eventful but successful race for you next time out. But thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you in Spain next time out.
Yep, hopefully back better than ever.
All right. Thanks for your time. Speak soon.
Yeah, speak soon.
All right, the Ferraris are still there. So one last garage to visit before we close out today. And I'm going to come and speak to Big Tonk and Daddy Tonk. Hey, guys, you okay to talk to me for a minute?
Of course. Yes.
So Big Tonk, I'll come to you first. It looked as though, you were hanging in the points there, and then the safety car came out, and then we saw an alert pop up on our screen about some kind of collision with Emeleki. Are you able to tell us what happened from your perspective?
I mean, it was a very light impact. I was just weaving to try and heat the tyres, so was he. He was slowing, and I just tapped the slightest bit of his rear end, and instant 10 seconds.
Wow.
So I was annoyed, but thankfully it didn't affect the end of the race. So
yeah, well, it looks like a point scoring finish for you. And how did you find the race in general? How did you find Saudi Arabia, the track in Jeddah?
Challenging circuit for definite, and the setup I was on definitely didn't help. It was not the one.
Did you have relatively high wings or low wings? Were you going for speed?
Quite low, and it didn't work here.
Well, it certainly worked from a point of a scoring position, it seems. So well done to you in that regard. I'll come to your I'll come to your teammate, Daddy Tong. Daddy Tong, how was the race for you? I did apologise actually live on screen because we didn't really spend any time with you today. That wasn't through choice, but so much was happening elsewhere. Were you just staying out of trouble and seeing what happened?
To be honest, I had my front left wing plate missing. I had a little bit of damage on the left front, which obviously compromised a little bit of the race pace. Personally, like Big Tonk just said, I think I was on the wrong wing settings as well. But overall, I mean, I like Jeddah because it's a fast flowing circuit. It's very challenging. But at the end of the day, I came 8th or 9th in the points. So, I was happy with it. So that's point score again for me and for Ferrari.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to both of you. Thank you once again for talking to me here. And will you both be back next week?
We should be.
Excellent. Look forward to it. Okay, guys, have a great week ahead, and I'll speak to you both very, very soon. Thanks for talking to me.
See ya.
Cheers. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, guys. All right, so that's all garages spoken to who had drivers in today willing to talk to me, but my thanks to all of them for taking time out to actually talk to me live on the stream. It's always good to hear from the drivers themselves as what they've experienced in the race here today. So it looks as though Monty has gone from the commentary box, which is no problem at all, but my thanks to Monty for being with us here and giving us his perspective on the racing. So we will show you the driver standings as we head in to the next race in Spain. Come back and join us 8 p.m. UK time next Wednesday for the penultimate round of season 4 of G-Force Racing. As we sort of heard GoatGhosty saying, Jakub, he's coming for you. Look over your shoulder, or maybe look in the distance if Goat is going to streak off into the distance and try and get some incredibly valuable points for the Drivers' Championship. It could mean, depending on the results next week, Jakub could actually win it, I believe, in Spain. So do not miss that. If you want to be with us here on M1 Racing, it will be great to have you. As you can see, always give us exciting, dramatic racing from start to finish. My thanks to all the drivers for talking to me and for taking part today. If you would like to take part in G-Force Racing, click the Discord link on my Twitch channel or my YouTube channel. Head over, sign up, grab a seat. It'll probably be a reserved seat for the remainder of Season 4, or maybe for the Ironman. Come join us on a Sunday. They're a lot of fun. There are permanent seats available in the Ironman. Also, you could race against me on a Sunday. You'll probably beat me, but it's a lot of fun to take part in that. And then we'll look forward to Season 5, but not before Season 4 is done. All right, I'm going to leave you all here, folks. I wish you very well for the week ahead, and we will see you in Barcelona for the penultimate round of G-Force Racing. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. UK time. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye for now.